What's up, Tiger Gang? This is JT here from the Poco Moonshine family. It's another episode of Chatting with Carnivores. Today we got Anthony from Food for Thought, man. How you doing, Anthony?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
I'm doing real good. You guys, I'm gonna put his handle up here right away. Make sure you guys don't hesitate to subscribe to Anthony's channel, man. I'm telling you, if you need any tips on nutrition, this is your dude, man.
Oh, thanks, man.
Like you got everything about electrolytes and everything, man. I
Yeah.
even you and I just loved your videos, man. You're connecting. What do you got a name for that tree that you like to connect with? That big one?
I actually thought about it, but just
You got to
the
name
more
that big
natural stuff.
bastard, man.
Yeah, just it's just my tree. It's I thought about it, but I was like, what, this is just it's. We haven't got there yet, but well,
Yeah,
maybe the
it's
universe will
that's
tell
the
me
next
his name.
level
But
of connecting with it.
yeah.
But
We're working on the language barrier, communicating with the trees right now. So.
right. But let's start. Oh, where are you from and where are you at now?
I am from Vancouver, Canada, from in British Columbia. I was born in Richmond, BC, which is kind of a little suburb of Vancouver.
The BC Buds out
Currently,
there when I was younger.
but that's right.
When I was in high school, they always get the BC Bud, man. You know, the smoke.
Yeah, well, things are changing, right?
Yeah.
Now we can say that without any problem.
Right.
And now I'm living in White Rock, BC, which is just a little bit down the road, and it's on the coast. It's by the beach, and I'm kind of slowly working my way to probably Vancouver Island because I want to get into nature and get. I'm gonna have to visit my tree
Yeah.
sporadically when I get there, but I'm gonna be around more trees. So yeah, man, I grew up here, and yeah, it's nice. Canada's interesting now, but we're getting done. It's good. It's good.
I've never been up there.
Oh man, you should come. It's nice in the summertime. It's we like Vancouver's cool because we got like the four seasons in full effect. We get a little bit of snow, not crazy cold, lots of rain, but these things are changing. We get pretty hot summer, so
Yeah,
it's
my
good right
summers in
now.
Wisconsin here are getting pretty hot now.
Yeah, we got a few problems right now with forest fires, which is kind of
Yeah.
it seems to be a trend around the world that
Yeah.
things are getting bad, but hopefully everybody's okay and it's not gonna do too much damage.
Yeah. No, for real. So how did you what's the inspiration for Food for Thought, the YouTube channel?
Okay, well, I was, I guess we should probably start at the beginning from where I started because 4 years ago I was basically at that like it was like I don't know if you want to call it an epiphany, something. I was like I'm getting old. This is not good. Like we need to get our life on track here. And
Mm-hmm.
it was like I was at the point where I couldn't lift my arms over my shoulders,
Really?
shoulder pain, like just aging. And I mean I was only 40, 44, 45 years old. And I was like, this is ridiculous. I can't even run up the stairs. And it
Mm.
was to the point where, this is okay, here we go. We surrender and die, or let's start fixing it.
Fight back.
So I started getting into, just started moving, started exercising, realized that, at that time I thought exercise was everything, and diet was just, that thing that you kind of can
Added
round it
into
off
your
with.
exercise.
Yeah, and I started just feeling a little better, kind of progressing a little bit as far as movement goes, and then I came across keto and I came across low carb and I started low carb, and within 2 weeks, holy shit, like the pain factor, just my body was, I guess now looking back, it's like the inflammation was just pretty quick, instantly coming down.
Wow.
Started feeling better, started getting wicked energy. And I was like, what the hell is going on? So what happened was like my curiosity kills the cat, and it also saved my life because curiosity just brought me into learning about, nutrition and why this keto diet was working. And, if everybody knows there's so much controversy in the nutrition space that,
Mm-hmm.
one side is it's magic, the other side it's the devil. So I was like, okay, well, you know what? Let's throw some logic into this and just throw it all on the table. I started researching, learning, reading books, figuring out, both sides of it, like why keto, what fat was, what protein. And then was keto for about a year, and I was getting good. Like I was about 235 pounds, and I've always been a chunky sort of, like I held body fat really well. I wouldn't say I was obese, but getting there. Like, I mean, I'm pretty sure if things didn't change, that would have been the path. So I started this keto, started feeling better. And then it was like, I want to take this further. And then when the pandemic came, I was like, I'm going to go to school. I'm going to study to be a nutritionist.
Mm.
So I enrolled in a nutrition school. I had a talk with the dean, and although they weren't really like promoting the ketogenic sort of lifestyle, there's a lot of sort of intertwining, and it's nutrition, right? Like, well, and the funny thing is that's what I thought at the time. And at that point, I was like, okay, let's go vegan. Let's give this a shot because this is healthy, right?
Yeah.
It's the planet, right? It's my responsibility, right? And I was like, wait a minute here. Before we do this, let's learn about this. So I took a deep dive into like stories, and then I actually, and like the carnivore thing, and I think we talked about this earlier, but this statement resonates with me and will for life. I was talking to one of the guys I was working out with at the gym, and he's like, man, you just got to eat beef and eggs if you want to get in like real good ketosis. And I was like, there is no living way in hell that I would not eat vegetables. I am 40 years old. I need them. And he's like, okay, then whatever. And that was sort of that. Well, after the vegan sort of the carnivore thing started coming out, getting a little bit of traction, and I think I think it was Sean Baker on Joe Rogan, and I just started digging into the low carb space. Sort of, it was all tying in together. So there was some carnivores out there. You know, I don't know if anybody knows the Carb Addiction doc, but he was sort of like pushing carnivore. There's a great doctor in Australia, Paul Mason. He's pushing carnivore, although it wasn't like we're carnivores, but you just saw what was happening, a lot more meat. So I was like, everything on paper, like when you lay it out, was the vegan side does not make sense when you got to supplement all the nutrients that you need. So when I looked at it from a macronutrient side, and then when I learned that everything was in beef and how important fat was, let's try this carnivore thing. And holy shit, like, did it change? Within 30 days, I started getting like just dropping weight, like body fat. And it was like, this is insane. And then the energy, and that's where, you know, to all you new carnivores out there, write this stuff down whenever you notice something changes, because I didn't. And now I'm trying to remember what's actually resolved. And still to this day, every day I'm like, oh my God, I don't get hangnails anymore. What? Oh my God, this doesn't happen anymore. You know, oh my God, I used to have this and now this is gone. So every time I do a video, I'm like, oh my God, I gotta, like, it's hard. You know what I mean? And I think Woodster 72, I checked out what he was writing down some of that stuff, and I'm like, 65% of that stuff happened to me. No dandruff.
Wow.
Like no dry skin. And okay, am I Superman? Am I some genetic freak? No, man.
No.
You know, this is just getting.
You're looking like Superman, though. You're getting there, man. Holy crap, man.
Well,
show him the
like
guns.
Superman.
Show him the carnivore guns. You guys, look at that. That is carnivore. No, I like to show people, man. The proof is in the pudding, and for us, man, the proof is in the beef. It's in the ribeye. Right, you know, it's in the biceps. You know.
So yeah, man, and I just kept like just looking into it, doing more research, and now I'm at the point where the school, I've actually given up. I don't want to be that cookie cutter nutritionist. That all of this stuff, like I'll show you some textbooks, man. It's wrong, and I'm living it. You know, like it's weird because we all wonder, like, how can this be happening? How are vegetables not that good for you? You know, like all our lives, programming, eat your vegetables. You need to eat this.
Yeah.
And it's like, just ask this one question: what if we don't? And then let the magic happen. Yeah. You know, just that's all you have to do is say, whoa, what if we don't? And so then food for thought became, I was like, okay, well, I'm going to start, I got to start, the people that I was sort of coaching and helping, people started noticing that I was like, you know, looking good, feeling good. So I was like, well, okay, well, let's do a YouTube channel. This looks interesting. And I just started, when I started, it was more like, I was telling people what B vitamins were. I was telling people, like, you know, kind of more nutrition things. And then it just was like, you know what? There's everybody else for that. Like, and to be honest with you, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a scientist. I have done, oh my God, 4 years of, like, seriously, man, this has been my sort of, I love to know why. So when it comes down to food, nutrition, and You know, there's so many variables. And so that was what I said. I was like, you know what? No, I'm going to show my side. So Food for Thought now is kind of what I do. And like my message is like, you know, it starts with a question, and then you find your way, you know, like it's one thing to call it the carnivore diet, but really, man, it's just human nutrition. Like it's what we're supposed to be doing. And you know, it sucks that there's a lot of people out there that's like, oh, you can't be doing that. That's so bad for the, it's like, no. Let's not look at anything right now. Let's just look at you. You know, forget about the planet for a second. You know, I'm not saying don't. I love Mother Earth too, but just look at yourself and what you need.
Yeah, if you actually take care of yourself, you can help the planet.
Exactly.
Because I mean, if you're down and out, man, how you can help anybody?
Exactly. And man, and it just started. That's where the channel kind of started to fruition. So I kind of do a little bit of, you know, some recipes, how I sort of do my things like breath work and meditation. And I mean, everybody doesn't have to do what I do. I'm just trying to show what's happened to me and how this is, you know, gone.
Yeah.
So, absolutely. And man, I got to tell you, bro, like since I found you, man, you're like, this is what the world needs. Guys like you that are normal people, like they're real people. I'm sorry, that's normal son of a, but real people that care. And man, you and Anna, like you can tell that you guys are into it, and you're just, you know, man, it's awesome. And now where I'm at with, I love the stories. I love like listening to people that have had nothing to lose, well, everything to lose, and thinking that maybe it's going to just help a little bit, and boom, all of a sudden their life's back. Like
now they've got everything to gain.
Yes. Like, you know, when you're bedridden to paddleboarding, and like there's a girl, Carnivore Diet, fantastic story. You know, and this is what has to be done. And then you have, and this is what really kind of like makes me really mad, is you have people, stories like this, and then all of a sudden you have somebody say, well, you're going to die faster. You're gonna, like, what are you talking about, man? You know, like how really you have to say, like,
how when I laid in the tub though before, no one cared about what I was eating. You know, I was throwing up after my meals. No one gave a crap, man. But now that I'm eating meat, man, everybody's upset. Well, you gotta have vegetables. Well, so what? So I eat a vegetable and 3 cartons of ice cream and all this other stuff, and I'm good. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, exactly. And that's it, man. Like those little changes start happening where it's like, you know, I got into this to complete nutrition, and then I realized, and I'll get into this, like I was hanging out with some friends this weekend that I haven't seen for a while, and they're like, now I'm to the point where, I mean, I want to try and say this as humbly as I can. I'm in the best shape of my life, and I'm not even trying, man. I'm not trying. Like this, it's not counting calories, suffering. You know, like, oh my God, you know, I still eat ice cream now because I can. I put in a lot of work where I was, you know, like. And that's kind of my advice to a lot of people is start with 30 days, really focus, and then sort of build from there and like, you know, use your thing. This doesn't have to be forever when you're thinking it from the lost side. But I'll tell you from experience, man, forever doesn't matter when you feel amazing, right? So all these little things that you think you're going to miss, you might bring them back and you'll be like, what? Like I eat rice now, my knee gets sore. It's like, what the hell, man? So, you know, should I eat rice? Well, my knee says no. You know what I mean? Right? Yeah. And when I eat butter and a lot of fat, I feel amazing. And my knee is like, I love you. So that's your choice, you know? And I find now my metabolism's under control. I've reversed pre-diabetes. I was pre-diabetic.
Kidding me.
No, man, and I had a talk with my doctor. She was like, you're going to have diabetes within 10 years, possibly 20. And I was like, I'm not eating sugar. And she's like, it doesn't work that way. I'm like, but it's sugar.
Oh, yeah.
And the doctor was like, no, unfortunately, this is your genetics. You're going to be, I'm like, but I'm not. Okay. Type 2 diabetes is elevated glucose and high insulin. If you don't elevate your glucose and how is that's not diabetes. And this is my doctor. And I'm like, this is not making sense, man. Sure enough, my hemoglobin A1C was 5.7, which is pre-diabetic, and then now it's 4.8. Like within 4 years, I am like in the low normal range, and you know, like, oh, but meat causes diabetes? Really? You
Yeah, but
know, like,
it's gonna kill you, even though it's
yeah.
helping get rid of your diabetes.
So, you know, from all sides of this thing, man, it's like people, and you know, it is gaining traction, and channels like yours that are getting it to the people that need to see this,
Mm-hmm.
because then all you got to do is try it. Like, if you can eat, like, I know there's people out there that don't like meat, then eat a lot of chicken. Okay, just start eating meat. Like, you know, when I say meat, that means meat, poultry, fish, whatever you can do
What
to
do
get
you
your.
eat in a week?
What do I eat in a week?
Yeah, what does a week worth of carnivore look like for you?
It looks like a lot of steak and eggs, man. I try and eat like red meat as much as I can. It's actually where I feel the best. Um, so I tend to, you know, once in a while I'll have like, I try and source out like real good quality chicken when I have it. I don't really enjoy chicken. It doesn't really do much for me. Chicken breasts are like really boring, you know, like
Dry.
it's kind of. Chicken wings are good, and I do love hot, spicy stuff. So once in a while, I'll do a little hot chicken wings. But most of the time, it's beef. It's beef and eggs and butter. And I've done like the BBVE challenge and man, it's so good just to simplify everything, man. If you need rules, just eat beef, butter, bacon, and eggs for 30 days, man. That's so easy. And you know, oh, can I eat that? Is it beef? No. Is it butter? No. Is it bacon? No. Is it eggs? No. No, you can't
Real
eat
simple.
it. Simple, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, man, I'm like, and I'm like, I shop around for good deals in at the store. So it could be ground beef. You know, sometimes I fry up some ground beef and mix the eggs in there. And you know, nowadays I'm kind of off the pork. I've read a lot of stuff about the industry and how, like, you know, kind of factory pork is, you know, it's probably not the best meat in the world. I do love pork, so it's kind of sad, but
What about
I've
beef
also
bacon?
found. What's that? Yeah, I love. Oh man, you can bacon it. I love beef, right?
Okay, yeah. So you'd rather have the beef bacon rather than the pork bacon.
Oh man, yeah. I mean, I'd rather have good quality bacon that's not a bunch of sugar and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I found a farm now that's local that does pasture raised pork, which is, you know, it's a little bit more expensive, but you know, I put a little bit in the freezer and have it. But it's mostly daily, 7 days a week, man. It's as much steak and ground beef as I can possibly eat, and it's, you know, it's kind of scary how much I eat.
And what about exercise? You said you're not working out, but are you walking? What do you do?
No,
Push-ups?
No, when I say I'm not working out, that means I'm not spending hours and hours at the gym. I try and get 10,000 steps a day. If I'm working, and I work a pretty physical job right now, like through school, I've been working for a moving company, and I get that all the time. Well, look, you're lifting weights every day, and it's like, go look at construction sites and tell me all these guys that are doing the hard physical labor.
You're leaned over
what
on
they look
after
like.
stuff,
Yeah.
you know?
You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah. But exercise, I've got like a philosophy, man, and I think unless you want to be some kind of specific athlete, you just got to move. Just stay active, whatever it is. You know, like walking is beautiful. I hate jogging, but I sprint from time to time because that's the other thing. I think you have to lift heavy shit once in a while and move fast once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
But movement is the key. So, and I mean, it's not about crunches, man. It's not about, you know, but I do have, and when I go to the gym once every, you know, maybe once every 2 weeks, once a month, I lift. Like, that's when I do like heavy lifts. And that's for a guy that's not at the gym 16 days a week, man. It's like my deadlifts are crazy. I'm stronger than I've ever been in my life.
You got the Dr. Pacey effect going on, man.
Yeah, thanks, man. That's pretty good.
Yeah,
He's a good role model, man. He looks good too.
He said he gets in the gym maybe once a month because he's so busy working. And
it's funny, but I totally relate to that because it's like all like you use it or lose it has been the sort of you know, our whole lives.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't have to go to the gym for like a month and I haven't lost anything, and that's another thing to be like, what the hell is going on, man? Like this is crazy, and you know, just eat meat.
No, it's really that easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like do you feel like carnivore has helped your mental health and your spiritual health?
Man, that's probably the most underrated, or maybe not, because it gets very personal, but my brain is alive. And the only way I can describe it is for 40 plus years, I hated school. I didn't read. I didn't, you know what I mean? I wasn't that kind of guy. Now my thirst for knowledge is insane.
Mm.
And all of it has led down to, like, you know, getting my mind right on a spiritual sort of path. And I owe it to, it's nutrition, man. It's the food I'm eating, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
So that, yeah, man, it's pretty crazy. My brain is just working. And, you know, we can go down that rabbit hole with omega-3s and fat. Okay, how about this? Your brain is made of fat, all right?
Mm-hmm.
If you don't eat it, we don't put it on. So all our vitamins, all our neurotransmitters, all our stuff is cholesterol, fat, and protein. What would make perfect sense? You know?
Yeah.
You want a good brain? Give it what it needs to work. Simple.
Man, I'm glad I got you on here, man. You make it sound easy, man, because you've done the research, you know, like you're simplifying it.
And you know, it's funny because that's what, like, kind of supplements, right? Like, everybody jumps to these quick fixes, and if you take care of foundations, supplements become maybe a benefit. Try it out, it might work. But relying on vitamins and mineral pills, really, like, when you're thinking about it, it should be get it from food and sort of round it off with maybe a supplement if you're not. And I think that's what I get with the electrolytes is I do take potassium. I make sure I'm good with salt and magnesium because I can't always eat grass-fed beef in like the perfect natural way. So
do you do electrolytes every day?
I do, and it's kind of like I just kind of cover my ass. Like, I take sea salt in the morning with water, and that's kind of like the first thing I do. And then I take some potassium citrate, which there's other things as well as about, like, people will say, well, you're going to get so high uric acid and your pH, blah, blah, blah. Well, the way to counteract that, if any carnivores are having these problems, if you're having some worried about your pH or your, like, meat being too acidic in your body, either take some citrate in the form of sodium citrate or potassium citrate. It gives your body that sort of balance. Or you can take, like, I do it once in a while when I and it's almost weird. I can tell when I'm sort of, like, just a little off with that. And it's kind of like it's going to sound really weird, but it's kind of a smell that I can smell on my skin.
Mm-hmm.
And all I do is I take like a tip of a teaspoon of baking soda in some water and drink it.
Really?
And it seems to work. So that also adds that alkalinity. So, I mean, and this might be a little bit like intense for people, but a lot of stuff about it causes gout, uric acid, and I can tell you what, it's like your body equalizes. So when your body's going to be erratic, that's where the diarrhea comes in. That's where these, like, the new things and here's some logic for you. If our microbiome changes within 24 hours, if you eat something different, you might have a little bit of a, hey, what's going on to me? Right? Mm-hmm. And that could be a breed of pork. It could be a different cow. Yeah. We adjust like that. So, I mean, Dr. Ken Berry talked a little bit about this, and I think for a lot of new carnivores, like, it gets weird. Like, whenever I have bone broth with too much sort of melted fat in it,
mm-hmm.
I can get some looseness, right? But it's just the way my body works. If it's chronic, really look into it. But if it's just a day or two, that's your microbiome shifting, man. It's just getting used to new things. And mm-hmm. So don't run out and buy a bunch of probiotics because that's what you have to do now, which is like, you know, why? If you don't have a good environment, how are you going to cultivate good bacteria?
Right.
So, you know, and that's where the gut health is underrated. Mm-hmm. But I think the way the general mainstream ideas are, you know, they're probiotic fermentation in your gut, like through small chain fatty acids and fiber, mm-hmm. which is 100%, in my opinion, bullshit. You do not need fiber because I'll tell you, if you did, I'd be dead. I would have scurvy. I would be, you know, I wouldn't be able to go to the washroom, and I am perfectly fine. You know what I mean? And it's like in and out, gone, and it's awesome.
Yeah, some of the carnivores, they like doing a scurvy check.
Yeah. And you know what? If you're really scared of scurvy, a great way to kind of just like I say, cover your ass is sauerkraut. You know, it's super high in vitamin C.
I didn't even know what it was, and so like I really wasn't worried about it. I was like, I don't even know what it is. Yeah. I'm feeling so good. I got nothing to look up. Like, you know, when you feel so good, you got nothing to WebMD. You know, I'm feeling this, and then You know, in that website, you feel the littlest thing, they'll tell you it's
Yeah.
50 different things. They're like,
Oh
oh,
my
you
God.
got cancer.
What's going on?
Like, oh, I had an itch behind my
Yeah.
right ear, and somehow that leads to cancer. Like, whatever, dude.
And you know, it's funny because like this is another thing that I sort of picked up along the way is in modern medicine and like our sort of paradigm, we go to the doctor when we feel something or we're not feeling well, sick. They give us something and there's a whole list of side effects. Well, all the medication, everything has effects and side effects. Side effects being just maybe minor effects.
Mm-hmm.
It would be pretty naive to not, and this medicine is made of molecules from nature. So it would be naive to think that the food that you're eating wouldn't have side effects as well.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe even right away. You know, like it might not be the broccoli, it might be you eating broccoli all the time with a damaged gut for 30 years, and now broccoli is a completely different animal than it was when you were 2 hating it, right?
Yeah.
You know, so, and that's the context part of it. And it's like, man, when I eat something now, because I'm generally pretty regimented,
Mm-hmm.
I feel it. And it's, don't underestimate it. Like people brush it off, so I'm having a bad day. Why? It might have been something you ate.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't sleep well last night. Why? Might have been something you didn't eat. You know, like, and that's kind of where I think we're so programmed into this like pill remedy that we forget that, man, it's what God and Mother Nature are beautiful things that created our bodies. And I'm not saying chronic, you know, unfortunate conditions don't exist. But when we were born healthy, born to grow and develop
Be alive
into an
and
adult,
healthy, yeah.
maybe if we just don't get in the way, it will all come back. And I'm living proof, man. At 47, I'll be 48 next month. You can heal. Don't listen to them about can you put on muscle when you're older. You know, all these like cliches. I'm questioning them all. And that's, you know, kind of what I'm all about, man. I am questioning everything they've ever said. And nothing is off the table, man.
Well, my coach taught me about the law of polarity. You know, and you can't have an up without a down, an inside without a hot without a cold, and you can't have a question without an answer or a problem without a solution.
There you go.
And that's now right, I love that you're searching for it because, you know, my coach always says if you're looking for the right answer, you need to find the right question.
That's it. Hey, man.
And that's what you're doing. You're asking the right questions.
We just break it down. And the funny thing is just don't be afraid of an answer that you might not expect. Because I think that shocks a lot of people because what do we get? Some people get into, like you guys, you're back you're into carnivore, and this is great. Like you've got this momentum. Someone comes along and has some little nugget of doubt or, well, have you thought of it this way? Don't worry about it. You know, like this is our whole lives are changing right now. Like this carnivore movement, it's everybody, I don't want to say is against you, but they just don't understand. And
that's why we got to raise their awareness.
That's it. And when we're talking about polarity, like I'm really big on the laws of the natural law. Funny enough, natural law. Right? So if you look at that the universe is mental and it's all in the mind, shouldn't you be giving your mind what it needs to be
connected
here? Yeah.
So man, let it flow.
And then another natural law is cause and effect, really.
Yeah. If every action has a reaction. You know, and they eat 30 different things in their lettuce and they think they won't get 30 different reactions. By law, you're going to get 30 different reactions. If you knew the goddamn laws, you would understand even your diet better.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, you know, just on a little side note, like where does most of the foodborne illness and poisoning come from? It isn't meat. It's spinach, broccoli, lettuce,
Cheetos.
E. coli bacteria all over like, in the packaging and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, we have natural E. coli in our guts. Like it's there. It's just, you know, it's not driving us crazy because we're giving it what it needs.
Right.
It's not.
No Insanity says, hey, Lucia Young. Hello, Lucia. I love shouting her name. She says hello.
Hello.
Yeah, if you guys got a question for Anthony while he's here, I'm telling you, this is the dude. He's got the answers, man. Just look at him. He's vibrating. he's shaking, he's all over the place, like he's just living life and he's happy. He's a beacon of light, man, and I really like sharing those beacons of light because I feel like when I was in a dark time, Kerry from Homestead How, man,
Yeah.
man, he was my beacon of light, man. He was just, I was feeding off of his energy, you know,
That's
and
awesome. Yeah.
you know, like that just helped me, and I feel like I could be that for someone, you could be that for someone, but we got to give it a chance, which is why we're on here, and we're
Yeah.
giving ourselves a chance to. And it's like that lighthouse, you know, there's people out here and they're just in a storm, and they,
Yeah.
if they can see you, man, and catch that one glimpse of light, and they say, well, I'm gonna head in this direction, and then, oh my God, it's like,
Here's
thank
the
God.
harbor.
Yeah, and then that's how I felt for Kerry, and I that's why Anthony's on here, guys, because he wants to help too. Like, he would not be making the YouTube channel. I mean, come on, man. Like, this guy could be out picking up, you know, 30 different chicks in one moment. Yeah, like he's got other things to do, but he's helping people, you know, and I really appreciate that, dude.
Oh man,
Lucia,
thank you.
I missed all the beginning. Girl, you're gonna have to be part of the replay gang now. But Anthony, we just went through about how he started his YouTube channel and how he came to a realization that a lot of the things he grew up on were just false. And I think we're all coming to that level of awareness. And it's fun.
Yeah.
You know, you see a couple people in that level of awareness and you say, wow, what are they smoking? Like, they must be crazy. But then when you actually start to go inside, you find these answers and you raise yourself up and you join that same reality and you say, wow, you guys weren't crazy. No, and you say, welcome to this. It's literally like heaven on earth. And people are like, oh man, these guys are really made for each other. But, and that's okay. That's okay. But when you guys gain this level of awareness, when you, like you said, just give yourself a chance, maybe for 30 days, and you might just be pleasantly surprised.
And you know what? And like with the 30 days, like seriously, like we can do anything for 30 days. You can do anything for 30 days. And whether it's 21 or 28 days it takes to form a habit. Okay, so 30 days, forget about the stuff. And like this, you know, this is just a little bit like a tip. Forget about the stuff that you're going to be missing, and focus on the stuff that's potential. And
all the stuff you're gaining, like your activities back.
Yeah, and that 30 days will fly by. And like I did, and I'm sure you did, after 30 days, you don't want to stop. And now tell me one other diet ever in the history of anything was it like, I love this. You know,
I've never been into a single diet, man. I've seen all the diets in these companies where they ship you the food in the box. I was like, looks disgusting. And I'll just flip the channel. I'm like, no, thanks, dude. No, man. Like, and then I'm like, you know, but I saw people doing carnivore. I said, okay, now this looks like a paradigm shift. These people, and that's why the weight's coming off. Like, they're shifting their paradigm. That's why you were stressing the mental and spiritual health is almost even bigger, because it helps you make that paradigm shift. And then that's what helps you get the results. Like, you know, these people are on Weight Watchers. I tell people, just look at the name. They're called Weight Watchers. They're not called weight burners. They're not dumb. They make a lot of money off of you watching your weight month after month and watching it go nowhere.
And that's the thing that, like, you know, another little, we all know, follow the money. Like, we've heard this before, but if it's financial driven agendas, how is it going to be beneficial for you? You are not even the equation. You are supposed to be the residual effect of the benefit for them. So financial driven agendas, and I mean, I was in that sort of place where I thought, like, metabolism. Like, I've always kind of known, thought I did, known about nutrition and what was good for you, and you know, and cookie cutter, low carb, carbs were energy, low fat because it makes you fat, lots of protein, little meals all throughout the day. Well, who benefits when you eat when you drink 6 protein shakes a day? Like, and realistically, if you take what actual protein is and you look about how much you need, how the hell are they going to do a clinical trial and test people for X amount of time doing 6 protein shakes a day, doing 5 protein shakes a day, doing 4, the benefits, you know what I mean? It's almost impossible to do these studies. And that's where people also with this carnivore thing is they get into this, well, there's no studies that tell, okay.
Hey, these stories, we've got real life proof. I don't need studies. I've got guys like Anthony that, man, You know, and Lucia, you did miss the beginning. He was showing off the guns, girl. You got to replay that one. And that's what I'm saying. Like, the proof is in the pudding. Like, it's. I don't need studies. Eventually, we'll get them. But like,
Yeah.
I mean, when you got people who are just straight up getting results, how could
Yeah.
you ignore that and say, "Well, I need
Yeah.
a study. I need a
Yeah.
study."
And I
Go
mean,
study his story, man. Get studying then.
And the thing is like we just like if you need proof, look at use the logic that you were given because like look at history. There's no cave paintings of broccoli, man. You know, there's no
there was cave paintings. They got the buffalo, but I didn't see the buffalo like carrying like those packages that they ship you with your junk, to eat, man.
We associate gruel to poverty and slavery.
Yeah.
Stop eating oatmeal, man. You know, and what makes oatmeal delicious? Maple syrup and sugar. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like add a whole bunch of stuff that tastes like crap and make it delicious.
And if they don't convince you that eggs and bacon and stuff is bad for breakfast, then they don't sell breakfast cereal.
No,
and they're out of business.
We can go down that one too, man.
Yeah, they don't sell Fords. They don't sell baby strollers. They sell breakfast cereal.
John Harvey Kellogg, that created cornflakes, invented cornflakes. And this is kind of weird. I don't want to get too into this kind of stuff, but when you look at, I don't know if you've heard of Gary Fettke. He's an orthopedic surgeon from Tasmania.
No, I haven't heard of him.
Well, that's the Cole's Notes version. He got put on trial for curing type 2 diabetes inappropriately.
Oh, how dare he?
Yeah. And I'm talking, this is a big international lawsuit. Like there's Tim Noakes in South Africa, same kind of thing. Wow. And they're basically their practice, they changed from just the standard of care to whole food, high fat, low carb, seasonal, nose to tail nutrition from animals. And they've been grilled. And his wife actually stood up for him, made all this awareness, and she tracked this to where this was coming from. And it was basically the Seventh-day Adventist church that are very, very pro-plant-based. Really? And I'm not getting into the religion side of things, but the deep corporate structure that are trying to push the plant-based agenda. And it goes it's kind of a really interesting story. And John Harvey Kellogg was an Adventist who was a faithful, who had been an acolyte of the original, whoever started the church. And they believe meat caused sexual deviation, and that's why he had Battle Creek, Michigan, was a sanitarium, and that's where you can Google this, look into this if you don't think it's all documented history. He invented cornflakes. It was called granula, and he was experimenting on this, and funny enough, his understudy or his intern was Post cereal.
Kellogg's.
Yeah, so Kellogg's cereal under the Seventh-day Adventist Church, under the guise of helping people heal, doing crazy weird experiments, and started the plant-based movement. And now you can trace this sort of influence right back into corporate food, into big food. It's
everything starts somewhere. I mean, it didn't just pop out of the air. You know what I'm saying?
And now it's on hyperdrive. I don't know if anybody else feels this cognitive dissonance, but it seems like everything that it's okay, if meat was so bad, why are you making fake meat and trying to say it's better?
Yeah. Why would you even want plants?
So what does that mean? And not to mention throw a whole bunch of other garbage in there that's gonna do a lot of damage. I mean, just look at the ingredients.
Have you tried any of that plant meat? I could never even watching it. I was like, dude, I don't understand, and I don't want to.
To be honest with you, man, I think I did. I took a bite of a vegan hot dog once by mistake, and it was disgusting.
Because I know Burger King had the Impossible Whopper. Do you remember that?
What's that? Sorry?
They had that Impossible Whopper. It was like vegetable beef Whopper.
And the way they just push it like it's some kind of divine gift, and it's man, it's just processed food.
Lucia's got a question for you. She says, "How do you work out?"
Basically work out when I can. I don't really have any sort of routine. I enjoy working out. I enjoy lifting weights. My belief is you have to move. Movement is good, whatever you can do, whether it's swimming, biking, walking. Easy walking, man. I love walking. I get in my head. I get my music, or I get a podcast or some
He's
kind
got
of
a
thing.
favorite tree, guys, and it's
Yeah.
awesome, man. I love it, man. I just love this guy.
And then I do believe you have to lift heavy and move fast once in a while. So
you believe in sprinting?
Yeah, sprinting's good.
I've been hearing a lot of people talk about sprinting rather than jogging.
Well, and the funny thing is with when you look at the actual, we're gonna call them calories for now, because even though I don't really believe in calories, that's a whole other video. Burning your calories, your actual work, time under working load, compared to walking, jogging, and sprinting, it's quite very similar when you're looking at like your VO2 max and your heart rate going up, what your energy you can put out. So if you really love jogging and want to run or win a marathon, by all means, go train for it. But all the people like me that used to think jogging is like, you need to jog, it's good, like you're not even healthy if you don't jog. Just walk, man. Honestly, walk, get into it. I mean, and that's, like I say, if you enjoy it, great. But jogging compared to walking, but sprinting for like cause and effect, sprinting, the bang for your buck, it drives you, man. Like it's not about the energy. It's more about your mitochondria and your cells and how you get activated. Like it's like survival mechanism. So your nervous system gets activated, and it's like we go from holy shit to and it's kind of so. And whether you want to move fast on a bike, like sprinting on a bike, sprinting at home, like on an exercise bike,
what about
jumping jacks?
Do you ever use
elliptical? Yeah, just going flat out for as long as you can. And I mean, it's a good gauge to see where you're at as far as your fitness, because you'll just get better. And I mean, I'm not talking about you have to do X amount of time. Just get moving fast, slow down, move fast. The more times you activate that nervous system switch, that will create more of an adaptation. So it's more of a survival mechanism. So for all the tiger gang, pretend you're getting chased by the tiger and you move fast. Right?
Yes, that's great. They actually used to let loose tigers on people to try to see if they could make them run faster.
Well,
and they would just get eaten,
right.
because they didn't have in their mind that they could outrun the tiger, so they wouldn't. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. Now it's time to eat the tiger.
Right. And I just want to say one thing about jogging to the ladies. If you ladies are jogging, please, like, if you're wearing headphones, take one earbud out, because a lot of women have gotten kidnapped because they had their headphones on and they didn't hear someone coming up behind them or in a truck or something.
Yeah.
So
make sure you're aware for sure.
Yeah, you can have the music, but put them in one ear and keep one ear out, because you always got to be aware of your surroundings. I just got to put that out there because I've seen that happen on news. I'm like, dude, if these girls just took the headphones off, they'd probably be all right.
Oh, yeah. And another side note to jogging, and this is for people that are, kind of where you're at with this sort of journey. I see it at the park, and I see it when I'm watching people work out, and this is where it hurts me, man, because I just want to go out and hug these people and say, listen, you don't have to do this hard. When you're not really in shape and you're holding a lot of body fat, jogging, think about the impact. You just have to think about gravity, putting all the pressure on your joints,
your body. Yeah.
All this stuff. If you're not doing it correctly, you're gonna just start developing all these sort of runoff, maybe potential injuries.
Aches and pains.
Just slow it down, man. Just walk more. And there's nothing wrong with trying to move once in a while, but pounding yourself at that level of exertion. And I can see them really, really they want to do something good, and I'm just watching their knees, and I'm like, man. And this is a guy from I'm getting older, man. I think about my knees and my joints, and these are stuff we take for granted when we're young. And as if we're really out of shape, start slow, man. You got a lot. It's a marathon of life, right? It's not a sprint in that respect. But
like Kerry was saying one day, he said that it's telling a fat person to go exercise is like telling someone with pneumonia to just get up and go walk it off.
Yeah,
they're
exactly.
sick. And he says, they'll want to exercise more when they start getting the proper nutrition. Their body will be just begging them to go out and jog then, and then the weight will be coming off instead of going out there with all this weight, like you said, and forcing it and then injuring yourself because you just, and then some of them too, they're forcing themselves to do it because they don't feel well.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you got on carnivore, you're going to want to do it.
And that's the funny thing is now with me, Lucia, you say, how do you work out? I actually can't not. Like, my body is like, today we're moving. You know what I mean? Today I'm going to try some yoga, or I'm going to try some, but today we're going to be like, we need to move. And it's sort of, it just happens. And when you, exactly like you said, man, when you're feeling good, it's a natural instinct to want to move more. And then it's okay. And I think a lot of people get like our sort of, the old ways of thinking was like fitness, Jane Fonda workout, aerobic.
Yeah, no matter what your nutrition, just go to the gym. Go to the gym.
I will honestly tell you from 4 years of extensive research into this, nutrition, it's arguably the easiest thing to fix because you need it. Yeah, and like we all have to eat, and if you eat the right things, specifically meat and fat, the magic happens and everything else comes into place. Like, I mean, I sleep better, I breathe better, I move better, and that's just all this stuff. Like, we talked about this on the phone before this, was all that stuff free. It's not a bunch of money.
All right. I see a guitar back there, guitar case. Yeah. Is that a guitar case? Do you play?
Yes, it is. Yes.
Well, is that what type? Is that a bass guitar or what is it?
No, it's just my acoustic. It's just more of like a campfire thing. So.
Oh, okay, that's cool. See,
man, when we can have campfires.
Getting in the vibes and stuff, and
yeah, man, it's cool. I've always loved music, and it's sort of, I kind of go in waves with guitar. I play a lot and then I don't, and then I play a lot, but it's always, you got to have it.
Has Carnivore helped your guitar playing at all? Like, do you feel like you got a sharper mind for the instrument? Or is it just always, you've been...
Yeah, I haven't really looked into that. It'll be interesting to kind of see what happens. Now you've like sort of got the
yeah.
Start doing my scales.
Lucia, she says elliptical is easier on the joints.
For sure. That's actually, when you look at it.
She gets antsy.
Yeah, Lucia, nice.
Yeah, that means your body is starting to it's begging for that exercise. And it's tough, man, when you don't feel good and you're fat and overweight and stuff. Like even when I had my 254, I didn't want to work out. I didn't feel good. But now I'm like, dude, I'm like, man, I wish I lived closer to this guy, man. We'd be out there like judo chopping the,
But yeah, and to be honest with you, man, that's why I love walking. It's like I'm actually a kind of guy that likes to, like, I don't know if I call it multitasking, but kind of like when I do my breath work, I meditate and sort of do my affirmations and all that stuff.
Well, you're YouTubing and walking. You definitely were multitasking.
Yeah, but that's why I love the walking, because it just gets me into my time, my space, and it sort of leads me to where, like, if I've got something to think about, I can think about it. If not, I'll just let it be. But that's why I love the walking. So, I mean, even on an elliptical would work. Like, you're just getting into your own state. But I like the outside factor. So that's kind of, I try and get outside, get out in the sun as much as I can. And that's another carnivore perk.
Are you sunburning?
Never. Honestly, in 2.5 years, I'm like half Italian, so I kind of got some good sun blocking ability. I tan pretty easy. But I've always burned, like, my whole life since I was a kid. I've always had, there's that one day at the beach, you get a sunburn.
Mm-hmm.
I have tried, and this has been something that I have tried. I have spent hours at the beginning of the year, in the middle of the year, when it's been 40 degrees here in Vancouver, which is stupid, screaming hot. I've spent hours in the sun, no sunscreen, no burns. Why?
Me too, right? This year, since I've been on Carnivore, when I went bass fishing, usually that sun bounces off the water, kind of multiplies it. And actually, a lot of bass fishermen get like skin cancer because it's so strong. But I used to get burnt after maybe being out there fishing for like 45 minutes, hour and a half. And I was actually like burnt pretty bad, like where it would kind of hurt to touch and I'd really have to ocean up. I was out there for hours on Father's Day, banging bass after bass. And that's the other thing I got to say. I am catching more fish since I'm in this. I'm not saying it's the diet, but it is because it's got me in such a good vibration. I swear the fish can't even stay off my hook. They're like, I love this guy,
See, that's the benefit you got to write down, man. No doubt.
Yeah.
But with the sun factor, it comes down to cholesterol and fat. So our adipocytes, like all our fat cells, are made up of, are they made up of man-made, factory-produced vegetable oil with nothing, and it's just all ready to be oxidized and damaged? Or are you built with saturated, beautiful structure, solid fat? And it doesn't take long. So as your body's turning over and you're getting enough cholesterol, the sun is your friend.
Yeah.
You absorb more vitamin D, and there's like actually some
See,
some
and that's
theories out
another
there.
thing that's opposite of what we've been told our whole life. You
Stay
got
out
to
of the
fear
sun.
the sun, like put on the sunscreen and it's going to give you this and give you that. And
I try to put nothing on my skin anymore, because it's not only what we're eating, it's what we're putting on us, and we don't realize how the environment now like has so much of an impact on us, and it's very, like I don't use body lotion or soap anymore. When I'm dirty, I'll wash my hands with soap, and yes, but as far as just I don't smell. You know what I mean? It's like, what's going on? I don't have greasy hair. I haven't used shampoo in a year and a half.
wow.
And like all this stuff. And I mean, I understand women probably have a little bit of a different, thing with that, but I'm really conscious about I make my own natural deodorant.
Really? How do you do that?
I melt some suet, it's kidney fat, and I put some beeswax, some cocoa butter, and then I put a little bit of cornstarch and baking soda.
And,
yeah,
I'm telling you guys, there ain't much he doesn't know.
And it works. And this stuff cost me about, I make like 6 of these things in one batch, and it cost me about $8, Canadian. And it lasts me it's almost been a year.
Wow.
So, you know what I mean? And it's just stuff that we put on our skin. Like, just have a look at the stuff on labels, man. Like, I not only do reading labels from your processed food that you're not going to eat anymore.
Yeah.
The labels on our stuff, like, why are all these ingredients in there for something that's just supposed to be a degreaser, right?
And
like, why
half the time I read the ingredients, I can't even read the shit on the back. I'm like, what is this even? I can't even pronounce this. Yeah,
and when they have, it's like the flavor enhancers and the preservatives in food. Well, all our beauty products and all those products have stabilizers, saponifiers, and the create lather, and then there's the fragrance side, which I'm not a big fan of. I'm not a big fan of artificial fragrance anymore. So my laundry detergent is kind of as green and like definitely unscented. But I just try that, and I don't, I can't tell you because I don't know how much of all this like actually is doing, but I'm pretty sure it's better than all the stuff that I used to put on, like the body wash every day, the shampoo. So,
with the chemicals in there. Now we got to know, we see tattoos. How many do you got?
Well, it depends if you count this one as one or a few.
Well, how many did it take you? Are there a couple separate ones, or did you just get it all done at once? Like all one?
Well, this is probably about 35, 40 hours of sitting on my arm there. So it's a Spider-Man with Venom. And Mary Jane.
Did you see the new Venom?
Yeah, no, I haven't seen it yet, but
I haven't seen it yet either. I saw the first one, but the one Venom vs. Carnage I have not seen yet.
Yeah, I like it. I'm a binger with.
So how many do you got though? How many tattoos would you say?
6.
6. Okay.
On my back, on here, and here.
Okay.
So yeah, and it's a work in progress. So
so you still like getting them?
Oh yeah, this will not be the last. And that's something that I'm curious about too. Is next time I get a tattoo, about how the pain changes.
The pain tolerance, yeah.
Because I was pretty good with it, but I would always take some painkillers, Advil, before I'd get my.
I would smoke a big bowl before I went, and I'd just sleep right through it. Honestly, my tattoo artist loved me. He's like, dude, I never had a guy sleep through the whole thing. I was like, well, glad I could help you.
Yeah. I'm refreshed. But that'll be interesting. My next tattoo, which will be soon, I want to see how.
What are you getting?
It's going to be I think it might be like a Metatron cube or some kind of ankh or some kind of symbol. It's going to be a symbol that I'm trying to work it out in my mind what I need. So.
And you mentioned meditation. Do you meditate?
I do, as much as I can.
And, we got a good question here. She says, you're not worried about the toxins in the ink?
You know what? That's funny. Now, yes. When I didn't even think about it when I got these. You know what I mean? I was kind of like thinking, I hope my tattoo artist used good stuff, but I mean that's a valid question. And to be honest with you, now I'll probably look into that. Yeah, thank you,
She
because I'm
says,
gonna
get
look
a
into
cow
teeth.
tattoo. That's a hell of a symbol there, right? That's your
That's it, man.
or a steak, you know, like Carrie's got that heart-shaped
I'm
steak, you
not.
know.
That's not off the table, okay?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, a nice big T-bone or something. Yeah.
That's awesome. What about, I've heard a lot of people talk about dental health. Like I've even noticed like my teeth got less like film on it when I'm brushing my teeth.
My teeth are horrible. Like all my life, I've had like horrible, like just progressive, like cavities and pain, and I've had all my wisdom teeth out. And I was at the point where I was like, I'm gonna have to get some major surgery done. Like I wanted to get some replacements, and I mean, I actually do drink a lot of coffee, so my teeth aren't the whitest, but it definitely does that.
Could you mention
But
that, man? Because you guys look at this guy's body, and he does actually drink coffee, man. I'm serious, because a lot of carnivores, it's like a real big. What would your honest opinion? Do you think
okay,
people need to cut coffee out in order to get in
I
shape, or
think
no?
it's probably a lesser evil, but from my experience, I think it's a different animal. If you're using coffee as a bridge because you're giving up something worse like soda, or you're and you need that coffee to kind of keep you
Away
in
from
the.
something worse?
Yeah, I think it's beneficial. I mean, I use it. I mean, I've always loved coffee, but I was like a triple cream, triple sugar, triple, like, you know what I mean? Extra vanilla, extra like
Yeah.
goodness, and now I drink black coffee, or I put butter in it. But I think it's very subjective, and I think it's a personal thing. I mean, I don't think it's healthy, but there is actually some arguments to say about some benefits of, some blah 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 polyphenols, which I kind of disagree with, but maybe they're in that. So I think it's got to be personal, and I don't think it should be a deal breaker. So I think the people that need to drink coffee because they love it, just try and drink it the best way possible, black, or add
How
heavy
much do
cream.
you have? Because you're in good shape. Like, how much do you have?
Um,
People want to know how much do you exactly
um,
drink?
I definitely have like a big one in the morning, and then like I don't know
He's
whether
being
like
honest, guys. He's being
like
honest.
half a pot of coffee. Like I love it. But then all through work, it depends on how I am, because I mean, I don't really eat meals during the day. I kind of usually just eat one
OMAD?
at some point. Yeah, usually, but it's more convenience. Like, I mean, if I've got a day off, or I'm like, 1 or 2 in the afternoon, I get hungry. I'm like, oh, maybe I'll eat twice today, and then I end up eating once at 2, and then I don't eat
Yeah.
after because I just eat so much at once, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, so I'll drink coffee kind of if we're at a break or something is going on where people are eating food and stuff. I'll usually just get a black coffee, and that's kind of maybe even my psychological bridge, where they're all eating donuts and pizza and having their lunch. I just have my coffee because it kind of keeps me and it gets me by, right? So I don't think I mean, obviously it's caffeine, and I don't think the harms are they're not gonna disturb your carnivore progress. You know what I mean?
Okay.
As long as you're not putting a bunch of sugar and a bunch of like artificial stuff
Crap
in the
in there.
coffee, and it's use it as your bridge. And I do think whether it's some teas. I mean, it depends on your carnivore, right? Like some people need to give up coffee because they need to give up plants. Period.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, if you feel it out for yourself, if you're one of those people that you'll know, like it just starts happening. I mean, and I also, if you realize, like if you drink coffee and you get like that caffeine buzz and it's kind of like the jitters, take some B1. Vitamin B1 will nullify it instantly. So yeah, and I mean, and a little tip too with coffee, don't drink it immediately when you wake up. Wait, because it's stuff to do with
Wait,
your
how
brain.
long? How long do you wait?
Well, as long as you can, up to like, an hour and a half. Just not, as soon as you wake up and clear the cobwebs and drink coffee, what it does is it blocks adenosine. So there's something called adenosine that ATP is our energy, right? Adenosine triphosphate. But in our brains, when we're sleeping, it's like this tank that fills up, and then it actually just starts depleting. Well, coffee shuts down that process. It sort of blocks the adenosine from doing its regular thing. So that's the crash. That's the later on you get tired because it all comes back, and so you let your adenosine regulate and then
have the okay. Let's talk about your channel here before we And you got some, what are the future plans for the channel? And let's pull it up here.
Um,
Make sure you guys subscribe here.
right
Food
on.
for thought. So what are some big plans you got coming up here? Like, what do you plan? Are you still going to like put up carnivore,
Yeah,
content?
man. I think I'm gonna get into some more challenges. Like I'm gonna do another beef butter bacon and eggs again soon here.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Have you done like that 30 days sardines, or some people are doing like eating sardines for a certain amount of time?
no, I'm not a big fan of sardines.
Me
To be
neither.
honest with you, I think they're really healthy.
But I
I
see
think
a
they're
lot of
delicious.
beef and butter on your page
Yeah,
here,
man.
that's for sure.
Yeah, yeah. It's that's the go-to for sure.
What's your favorite cut of meat?
I like New York strips, like strip loin.
Me too,
That's kind of
honestly. I put a lot of butter on them and they're really good.
yeah. I mean, I like and that's another thing for people out there too. It's like you don't have to be eating ribeyes. Like there's a lot of people that ribeyes are the best cut of meat, and yeah, of course, the fat to protein ratio in the ribeye is good, and it's arguably one of the best in that respect. But eat what you can afford. Just eat whatever you can do. And I mean, if it is spam, it's better than most of the crap out there,
Yeah,
honestly.
he's
So,
right though.
Lucia, that's because of the adenosine. When you drink coffee, some people get affected by that switch really quickly. So as soon as you drink coffee, it can hammer down your adenosine, and it's interesting.
Yeah,
But
I'm glad we're talking about coffee because that is really a big one with carnivores. Do I
yeah,
stop it? Do I not? And then some of them are like, listen, I'll drop a bunch of this stuff, but don't ask me to touch my
yeah,
coffee.
but what's funny is that's the way people feel about sugar, right? It's
Yeah,
just they're like, don't you dare take away my sugar, don't sugar shame me, and
it's
it's
an
like, oh,
addiction. It
it
really
has
is.
nothing to do with shaming. It's just the way it is.
For
And
me,
for
it was
me,
the ketchup. It was ketchup trying to get off that.
and to be honest with you, I think ketchup, because it's full of sugar, is
Yeah.
worse than coffee.
Yeah, and
Right?
I
Just
tried
for the
sugar-free
sugar factor.
ketchup. It is crap. It's not even
Yeah.
ketchup without sugar. So it
You
literally
know
is
what?
chock full of sugar.
If you
Eat
get
like
this
a
book,
yes.
Eat Like a Human, I don't know if you ever heard of him, Dr. Bill Schindler. He's like big into like fermenting and food and stuff, and he has a recipe for fermented ketchup. Might be something for you. Try it
Yeah,
out.
definitely. I
But
love
I mean,
good books.
just a coffee thing for like all the people with me. When I first started carnivore, I stopped coffee. I didn't drink it because it was plants.
Really.
As I sort of fell it out, I realized that it wasn't the thing, and I didn't notice it when I stopped. Every so often, I like to switch things up and change things and see if it kind of affects me. So every once in a while, I'll stop
So it's
drinking
like
coffee.
elimination diet. You try to add a
Yeah,
few things in and see what happens.
exactly. I'll stop drinking coffee for a week, and if I can't, that's probably a reason to never drink coffee again. You know what I mean? If I feel like that's kind of my thing, like whoa, because that's where and for people out there, like I don't think don't make it a deal breaker, but definitely just be aware of the potential. I mean, I don't think it's necessarily healthy. I don't think it's the greatest, but if it gets you by, please let it get you by and just focus on the meat and fat. For sure.
What would you say to someone who's afraid of starting the carnivore diet, or they're unsure, because they've been told all their life that, fatty meat's bad and vegetables are good? And what would you say to someone on the fence?
Give it a try for 30 days, but give it 30 days of good, honest effort and see what happens. Don't worry about it, but you have to, and please, all the people out there, like, and that's kind of the thing that they don't understand with coffee and ketchup and, stuff that we don't really assume, it's still plants. So if you're somebody that really, really needs to focus on their health, you may have to, like, I'm talking no herbs and spices, no pepper, nothing. Meat, fat, and water. Salt is good, but it's your context. So if you're very sugar addicted and you've come to this place where you realize this, you're going to have to watch the coffee. You're going to have to watch the ketchup. You're going to have to watch once you get your metabolism sort of back on track, you might be able to bring stuff in, but I almost guarantee you're not going to want to.
No,
but that's what I say, and give it a chance. And a lot of people sort of carnivore, like it's like we're going to carnivore a little bit, and it's like you don't understand that it's the whole package of taking away the plant.
Yeah.
It's one thing to do the sugar, but the plants have like defense chemicals. They have anti-nutrients in there.
Yeah.
They're blocking things.
It's like a porcupine, man. You wouldn't pet a porcupine, man.
That's
It's got a
right.
defense mechanism built right into it.
So it doesn't mean you're never ever going to be able to eat plants again. I don't necessarily think vegetables are all bad all the time, but it's possible. And I think because of our situation and our guts in the modern society that the vegetables are not the same as they used to be when our grandparents were growing vegetables in their garden. So when you're starting carnivore, please just realize that it's about the meat.
Yeah.
Eat meat, fat, water, salt, and try it for 30 days. Any kind of meat, if it's chicken, turkey, whatever it is, like you have to do it. Whatever's cheap, if it's in your budget, it'd be great if you can afford to, have a grass-fed beef farm in your backyard. I wish I did, but you know what I mean. It's possible, and a lot of people actually say this. They go, "Well, how can you afford to eat that much meat?" I eat once a day. If I eat a $40 steak, that's the only thing I eat all day.
Yeah.
So I don't have my McDonald's meal. I don't have my granola bar snacks. I don't eat my sandwich at lunch. I don't have my, whatever chocolate bar during the day. I don't have pasta, dessert, dinner. And so is it really that much more expensive? And I would argue definitely not. And another thing, if anybody's ever in a pinch, go to McDonald's, order patties, burger patties. It's weird. Their beef, they're not made in vegetable oils, so they're actually very. And I think in the U.S. too, in Canada definitely, they're actually just made. There's no filler in those McDonald's patties. This is, it's just, we assume McDonald's bad. It's all. Trust me, if you're in a pinch and you need to just get meat and you don't know what to do, go ask for the a la carte menu at McDonald's and order the patties. And I usually order, like, if this is like, say, I'm on the road or something, and I don't worry about getting all there's carnivore answers out there, and this is just a quick trick. Is it optimal? No, but is it something that was not going to disturb your progress? In Canada, a meal, like a quarter pounder meal, is like $15-16 for a combo. I order 6 to 8 patties a la carte. It's like $14.
Wow.
Like, what the hell, man? So it's like, people are like, well, how can you afford to eat? Do you think the meat is costing that much, man? That bun and that Coke are ridiculously overpriced.
Right.
So that's kind of something too, man. Work within your budget and just remember, it's about eating meat.
The meat. Yeah, my aunt, when she started, she kept trying to put in all this cheese. I said, girl, I ate meat for 30 days, not cheese. Like,
yeah.
and there's nothing wrong with it. It's in there too, but like, stick to the meat. You know what I'm saying?
And that's actually another sort of, like, that's a sidetrack. Should I do dairy? Should I not do dairy? Usually, if dairy doesn't bother you somewhere, just remember, like milk, there's carbs in them.
It stalled me out.
Are you trying to? What's that?
It stalled me out. The cheese, I quit it.
Yeah, and then cheese as well. Like, good quality cheese is healthy. It's good for you, for sure. But a lot of good quality cheese, there's a lot of, like, sort of signals that it can send you too. Like, I mean, it's got carbs, and it's gonna be, so very subjective. And that's the stuff, like, that you got to feel out. I mean, just remember, meat, fat, and the cheese is something that, you don't want to be eating a meal of cheese. Just, maybe if you can use it as a condiment, and it has to be real cheese.
Yeah.
Not processed, like, whatever, American cheese or, Kraft.
I cannot eat those Kraft singles. They don't even burn. You try to light them on fire, man. I swear, dude, it's not even cheese, my guy. It's terrible.
Yeah, no doubt.
You got 3 quick tips before we head out? 3 quick carnivore tips? What helps you? 3 good tips.
Just eat meat.
Meat?
Just eat meat. Make sure you're getting enough fat. I think that's a very, very underappreciated thing. And remember, like, your fat to protein ratio, anybody that's going to tell you any differently isn't you, and they're not on your level where you're needing the fat.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people, if you find that you're not getting that yes factor, if you're not getting your groove on, something's kind of a little off, try and add good fat. Like, you know, butter's the easiest way. I mean, if you can, like, there's people out there that are eating half a stick of butter a day, just that, and their carnivore diet.
Wow.
So fat becomes different. I mean, if you can forget about the old school thinking that, you know, low fat diets are better.
Mm-hmm.
Fat does not make you fat. I can 100% from living God's honest proof tell you that. So it's a hard one to shake, but make sure you're getting enough fat. And I would almost urge on the side of overdoing the fat and cutting it back as opposed to not having enough. And that would be, yeah, that's number 2. I guess number 3 would be, what have we got to lose?
Yeah.
Give it a shot, man.
And you got everything to gain. Nothing to lose and everything to gain.
Nothing to lose. And you've got people out there have help, you know? JP, like you guys, man, this is awesome. And I mean, if anybody ever has anybody has any questions please, I'm really trying to not be that cookie cutter nutritionist, pay me money. And like, I want to heal people, help people heal, and like, you know, help people discover what I have and feel like
oh, you got a Spider-Man cup.
Yeah, that's my mug, man.
Yeah, you do like Spider-Man, don't you?
I do.
Peter Parker, man. That's cool. Yeah, you guys, make sure you go subscribe. He's the dude, man. He's gonna be back on here for an update. We can see how much bigger his muscles are getting, how much more cut he is, man, and how much more stuff he's learned. And hopefully by then you've named that tree. The tree I'm talking about, guys, he takes a walk and he's got a tree that he connects with, man, and he touches it, and he's just he's getting in tune with the earth, because the earth itself is conscious. I really believe that, man. Like, I'm watching the Skinwalker Ranch show, and I think they're finding out that goddamn ranch is conscious, man, itself.
Yeah.
So
that's pretty interesting.
You've already started to tap into some, and they got scientists out there like scratching their head, like, what's going on, man? Just, it's Mother Nature, it's the earth, man. Like, it's vibrations, man. Like,
and that's like a focal energy point, man. It's obvious, right? Let the energy flow.
Right. Yes. And like you said, it keeps you grounded. It's important to be connected to earth, man. It really is.
That would be like 3A tip. Ground yourself, people. Like, get your feet on the ground as much as possible. Like, the health benefits are crazy. Like, it's an antioxidant. So stop eating fruits and vegetables for all these bullshit antioxidants and put your feet on the ground for the actual natural flow.
Yeah. Let it flow, guys. Let it flow. Guys, my coach always says the first law of learning is repetition. So I need you guys to replay this and make sure you get all the info, because sometimes, you know, you'd be thinking about groceries or some errands you got to run, and you might miss 30 seconds of the video you were listening to. So go back, replay it, make sure you get all the info, because there's value in Anthony and there's value in his story. And
there's value in you, JT.
Thank you. And he's a beacon of light, man. He's really putting himself out here. He's just speaking from the heart, man. And you even hear him in his videos, you know, like, he didn't used to be this connected with himself, and he's on a whole new level, and he's trying to help you guys tap into that too. So food for thought, 1790. That's how you can tap in to the limitless energy that Anthony has, man, because he can help you get the same thing. He's literally a coach, man, just like I am. So make sure you guys go subscribe. Anthony, I had a blast, dude. I cannot wait for the next one.
It's been a pleasure, man. Yeah, let's do this anytime, brother.
We did so good again. Both conversations, I didn't have to use up all my questions, so I got some for the next time.
Right on, man. Yeah.
No,
man, that's cool. And like I told you before, man, anytime you want to have a chat, like, I'm down. If you need any help with anything, man, let me know. I'll be following you. I'll be here, you know. Yeah. We're only a text and an email away. So, yeah, man, I look forward to seeing how you guys do. And please, you guys, like, check this guy out, man. JT and Anna, they're amazing. And, you know, they're great people. And everybody hang on to this, like, you know, and use it for support. There's
these videos, I'm helping people like Anthony share the story, because there's just so many cool ways we can relate, you know, guitars, tattoos, nutrition, trees, you know, no insanity. Thanks, Anthony and JT. We got to go. Lucia, young me too, but missing others while live, spending evenings watching replays. Yeah, I'm telling you, we're cranking them out. And I'm telling you, these stories are so cool, because each carnivore has their own angle, and I just want to showcase that. So, Anthony,
and that's huge, man. You are your own carnivore, okay? And like, you know, there is definitely some things, but you're gonna find your way. And like, don't worry about the stuff. Just focus on what you can focus on, and that's it. The rest, like you said, JT, just ease, loosen up, relax.
Let
You
it
know what I
flow.
mean?
Relax,
That's it.
people, and make sure you relax while you're watching this live stream and playing this video over. And then relax too while you're going to subscribe to this channel. But that's what we got for this episode of Chatting with Carnivores. Anthony, I had a blast. We're gonna catch you on the next one, guys. Catch you on the next episode. I will do my duck face as we're leaving here.